What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I got a topic that a lot of people seem to enjoy. I'm going to be talking about 5 players plus one honorable mention that deserve some more credit. Not just in sports cards, but also baseball in general. Some pretty underrated players. They're not just going to be like average players either, like average Hall of Famers. These are big name players that don't get the recognition they deserve. Some of these guys spread from pre-war, like 1900, all the way up into the 1960s, and some of them played in the 1970s. I'm just going to go over some of their accolades, why I kind of think they're underappreciated, and then I'll check out some of their cards too, some recent sales of cards that I'd be taking a look at to build in my personal collection. So we're going to go in order here, kind of most recent all the way back, starting off with Rod Carew. Rod Carew does not get the love. People will talk about him, mention him as a good player, but when it comes to cards, other than his rookie, he doesn't seem to get much appreciation, and even that honestly seems a little bit low to me. It's a crazy tough 67 high numbers, one of like the toughest out of all the 1960s to get, and the guy was insane. He had 18 All-Star games. I've barely been even alive for 18 years. I'm only 20 for those of you who don't know. 18 All-Star games, 328 career batting average, and over 350 stolen bases as well. I mean, if you're averaging over the course of a 20-year career batting basically 325 to 330, that's just insane. And for his rookie to only be priced at what it is seems a little bit crazy. His second year just goes for like pennies, it seems, for how good of a player he was. I mean, you guys can see some of these recent sales here. A second year Carew, a 68, and a 7 for 125. The rookie and a 5 for 450. These seem like some pretty good prices to me. Moving back in time, we're going to Bob Gibson for the second player on this list. I mean, most of us know about Bob Gibson. He does get some recognition, but I don't think he gets enough. 2.91 career ERA with almost 90 WAR. And everyone, of course, knows about his 1968 season with the record 1.12 ERA. Had to move the mound, all of that. So we understand Bob Gibson is great, but why do people not really chase his cards that much? You can see his second year, 1960 tops for $40 in a 4. I mean, most players that are of equivalent, like as good as Gibson, is going to be way more than that. Yeah, 68 Gibson and $130 in a 7. He's definitely one I collect. I have a couple of his autographs actually, but I need to start looking at some more of these Gibson cards. I think these are super fair prices for the cards that you're getting. Moving to our third player, this one's going to be our honorable mention, but that's going to be Monty Irvin. It's probably safe to say he's kind of the lowest caliber player on this list, so that's why he's going on the honorable mention, but Monty Irvin was no joke. 305 career average. He finished third in MVP voting one year, only behind Roy Campanella, who won the MVP, and Stan Musial in second place. When he was only 21 years old, he batted 380 in the segregated leagues. I mean, almost batting 400, come on. He definitely had a great career. He doesn't have too many card options. He has a decent amount, but you can find some incredibly cheap Monty Irvin cards. One of my favorites, his second year, is 52 Bowman. This is a CSG 5.5, you see, sold for $53. A very nice raw one sold for $33. I've gone over some good players already, but this is where I think it starts to get into the real heavy hitters, the real great underrated players. And that's going to be looking pre-tops, pre-war for most of them. And that's starting off with Jimmy Fox. I believe he was the second person to get in the 500 home run club. He had a career WAR of 93 and a 325 average. And when he came into the league, looked at some of these stats. 1932, put up 58 home runs with 169 RBIs, and followed that up the next year, 1933, with 48 home runs and 163 RBIs. Some just insane stats. And his cards are not that expensive. If you go into the higher grades, of course, it does get expensive. That's just because it's pre-war. They're harder to get high grades. But if you're just looking for a good-looking card, you can get them at a great price. Like you can see this 38 Gaudy here, one of the best sets. I'd put in the top 5 best sets ever made. Best sets to collect, too, because they're just so rare. When you find them, you got to snap them up. That awesome looking raw one sold for about $500. Now that was a pretty good deal. You could probably grade that and be like $1,000 card. Now if you're looking to get into Jimmy Fox on the lower end of the price spectrum, you can look at the 41 double play. There's lots of good values here in this set. Lots of the cards have 2 Hall of Famers like this one here with Joe Cronin. You can see sold for just over $100. I think that's a crazy good deal. You're getting a 1941 Fox and you're getting Joe Cronin, another Hall of Famer, for $100 in good shape. It looks like it's crease free. That seems like a good deal to me. I have a 41 play ball Jimmy Fox for my personal collection. I'm slowly working on building the 41 play ball set, and I think everybody can agree that that's an awesome looking set. Everyone kind of wants a piece from that. I think Jimmy Fox is a great card to go for. If you don't want to splash the cash and get Ted Williams or Joe DiMaggio, or even he's cheaper than someone like Pee Wee Reese, who Jimmy Fox was pretty much easily better than Pee Wee Reese. You can get this card for a great price. And I mean, hey, we just went over some of his stats. Jimmy Fox hit more home runs in a season, more RBIs in a season than the counterparts Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio ever did. Also, all you guys are welcome to join this coming Sunday, October 1st. 6 p.m. Eastern time, I'm running my very first Whatnot sale. I'm giving it a try. I got 40 cards that are starting at $3 per auction. So it's Sunday on Whatnot. My Whatnot is Ballpark Memories with the underscore at the end. Check it out. And that'll roll us into our next one, which another player who has a 41 play ball card, Hank Greenberg. You see some of his stats here. Pretty insane. You can see this 3 or 4 year stretch of seasons he went off. In 1936, he must have gotten hurt or something. He had like only a couple games played, so I threw that out. But 1935, he went 36 home runs, 168 RBIs. Got hurt the next year, like I said, 36. 37, he came back, 40 home runs and 184 RBIs. That is insanity. And then 38, he follows it up again with 58 home runs. He almost beat Ruth's record. I mean, he was chasing it. Him and Jimmy Fox, like I just mentioned, both came super close to that Ruth record of 60, both landing up at 58. But then he also had 147 RBIs that year. You can get his cards for a great price too. There's a picture of mine that I have for my set. It's got some writing on it, but the card looks fantastic. Still waiting to get that back from PSA. You can find a Hank Greenberg autograph for like $120. I think that's a super cool deal. Or there's a raw one there, like you see, 39 play ball, $105. Hank Greenberg is cheap. I mean, you can get few cards of an awesome player. Once again, hit more home runs or had higher RBIs. I know that's not all it's about, but the flashy stats, he had higher of those than Joe DiMaggio or Ted Williams ever had. I mean, 184 RBIs in a season, 58 home runs. Go buy yourself some Hank Greenberg cards. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. We're super close to 1,000 subscribers. Leave a comment. I give away something every video. This time I'm giving away this card to this person. So leave a comment on this video for your chance to win this card. And rounding off the list, we got Tris Speaker. So now this is pretty far back, early 1900s. Tris Speaker, one of the greatest players of all time. Like when you really break down the stats, Speaker was insane. 345 average on his career, 135 WAR. That's 9th in WAR. Above Honus Wagner, Ted Williams, Lou Gehrig, Ricky Henderson, Mickey Mantle, Clemente. He's above them all. 3,500 hits. Played for the Red Sox. You see some of his cards here. 33 Gaudy, about $250, and that one looks incredible. T205 card, $250. Not a bad deal at all. And this strip card I actually purchased myself. I only ended up paying after taxes and shipping and everything. I was like $116 for a pretty early Tris Speaker strip card, already graded. Come on now. I just went over the stats. I'm not going to go over them again. But we can clearly see Tris Speaker was one heck of a player. People got to be buying more of his cards.